including members of the reserve bench. So I guess you can decide amongst yourselves. If she's unable to come down.
She's unable.
She is unable. Okay.
She's
All right, no problem. All right, so just give you a couple of minutes to decide amongst yourselves. She's asking about one of the reserve members can sit with the three of them.
Morning, everyone. Is everybody okay with the temperature here? Yeah. You want it adjusted? No. Fine?
It's fine.
Okay.
She's on because there was she was there. No. She was on so he would so they would only
So who was the other lady sitting there?
she was in the reserve range, so what you didn't get out of it themselves second year
But then the one is gonna come and she's going to I am not for the other one. Why are you adding somebody else to the rebuttal?
no not to do it
To do points of it, to do points of it. That makes no sense.
there's three steps
But if you're not, if you're adding a member to the team, they must be doing something. Sometimes they know. They can add a member to think about the rebuttal. He's not even going to present the rebuttal.
I'm sorry.
If you're not adding a member to the team to do something substantial.
Is it a mute? You got the microphone?
get a disadvantage. No worries about it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience and for particularly responding to situation, an unforeseen situation that could have happened to anyone at any given time. So we thank you for understanding and for your patience. So in light of what's happened, we've had a slight readjusting of the speaker orders, and we've worked that out. So we now invite the first speaker from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to continue where the member left off.
You will pick up at 1 minute and 4 seconds, which means that you are now no longer in that protected first minute, and points of information can be offered.
So there is a rule that I gave it to start.
Yeah, so you just pick up from the definition, the bit where she was just about to start giving the definitions. So she had offered 2 points of rebuttal, and she was just beginning defining the key terms. So you can pick up from there.
To lay the foundations of our arguments, I will first define the key terms in the mood. Flexi work will boost productivity and the public sector. According to the International Labour Organization, flexi work is arrangements offering various possibilities in relation to the number of work hours worked and the arrangements of roster, shifts, and work schedule on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly basis. Will boost, as defined by the Oxford English Dictionary, is expressing the future tense to increase or improve. And dictionary.com defines productivity as being able to generate, create, and enhance goods and services. Public sector, according to the Cambridge English Dictionary, is businesses and industries that are owned and controlled by the government. In deep contemplation and meditation over the situation of the mood, will boost productivity infers that the introduction of a flexi work week will there be a booming and enhancement and production of goods and services in the public sector. Taking all these definitions in mind, it is prudent that I restate the mood as, be it resolved that the arrangements offering various possibilities in relations to hours worked in government and business-owned services and industries will not on its own generate or enhance goods and services in the future. As first speaker, I will focus on what Flexi Work Week is all about and the disadvantages of such an implementation. My second speaker will look at what is needed to boost productivity in the public sector and will also identify a country that employs Flexi Work Week and how productivity would be impacted. My third speaker will abridge our arguments and make recommendations on how to boost productivity in the public sector. My opponents, before I begin my arguments, let me make it clear. We, the members on this side, are not averse to the concept of a flexi work week, as it is crucial to the development and survival of Jamaica in a global economy. The flexi work week, according to a study done in the UK, showed that flexi work time has greater benefits for the employee as it allows them more freedom and flexibility. The study concluded, however, that flexi work week did not have significant effect on productivity. With that said, what is flexi work week all about? And why was it conceptualized? Ladies and gentlemen, flexi work schedule allow employees some leeway to show up and choose to leave, some leeway to show up and leave work at agreed times with their employer. There is, however, a core time during which all employees are expected to be at work. The rationale for the proposed implementation of a flexi work week arrangement, as is explained by the government of Jamaica, is due to a paradigm shift in the job market. New markets are being created that do not require the normal 40 hours and do not need much supervision. It was also conceptualized based on the premise to give employees more freedom to choose their work schedules. The government of Jamaica also identified the need for some flexibility in the labor market, as this was seen as a crucial area for Jamaica to be able to compete and survive in the global economy.
The International Labour Office of Geneva says that there's no research that suggests that flexi workers are less productive than workers that have a fixed schedule. Is that what you're implying?
My opponents, my second speaker will take you to such countries. But how practical is this arrangement to the current culture, to the current Jamaican context? A meta-analysis study conducted by William Ace at Auburn University concluded that it is easier to implement flexi work time in smaller organizations than in bigger ones. This, Mr. Speaker, is mainly due to the complexity of large organizations. Look at our Jamaican public sector, my opponents. Most of these ministries comprise of a large workforce. With the introduction of this arrangement, according to our recent force order introducing the Flexi Work Week, will mean expansion of the public sector. Can we afford this at such a time? When we look at the present reality in Jamaica, the government wants to reduce the public sector wage bill to meet 9% of gross domestic product. Introducing flexi work arrangements in the public sector would mean an increase in the size of the workforce and ultimately an increase in wages. Wouldn't this derail the present arrangements that we have with the IMS, my opponents? Are you sure you would want to go down that road, my opponents? Do you want to have do we have the requisite skill sets to take on such a venture? Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
We would like to thank the first speaker from Team Opposition for tabling their response to Team's proposition moved. We now invite the second speaker to continue the line of arguments for the Victorian
Mr. Speaker, before I get into my presentation, allow me to clarify some misconceptions that my colleagues, my opponents have. You define productivity, but do not be misguided. We're talking about productivity in the public sector, as my colleague had given the definition for. Also, you said that she did not give statistics as to how Flexi Work Week increased productivity in the public sector. Perhaps you were not listening, because she mentioned that a Canadian study, which was listed in a research conducted by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, in 80% of the organizations, they reported a 37 to 59% increase in productivity. Now then, I have a son, Mr. Speaker. He's 13 years old now. One Sunday afternoon, when he was about 9 years old, I was getting ready to go to work and he was playing with his toys. He looked up from his toys and said to me, "Mom, I think the government is unfair." Of course, I wanted to know why he felt this way. His response was, "Because they get to spend more time with my mother than I do." Whether it is real or perceived, our family members should not feel like they have to take a backseat to our jobs. They shouldn't feel like they have to wait and take a number in line to spend time with their loved ones. Mr. Speaker, the way that we're working just isn't working. As my colleague said, I will be focusing on how a flexible work week will enhance family life and how this arrangement can benefit employees, yours. So a research conducted by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security in 2010 found that where flexible work week was introduced and was practiced, it helped in improving family life. The report states that, and I quote, "One benefit to employees is that it facilitates taking their children to and picking them up from school," end quote. Mr. Speaker, it is our position that public sector employees do not spend enough time with their families because they spend so much time at work or focusing on getting to work. What we currently have is a situation where parents work Monday to Friday, and what should be a regular 9 to 5 ends up being a 5:30 to 7:30. This is what we have. Take for an example, a parent who works from Portmore and works in the National Hero Circle. She gets up at 5:30 in the mornings to get to work, to beat the traffic, and still gets stuck in traffic. When she leaves home, the children are still asleep. She leaves work at 5 o'clock, gets stuck in traffic, doesn't get home until about 7:30 thereabouts. By the time she gets home, the children are asleep. Sunday is church day and preparation to go back to work. Saturday is church day and market day. When do these families spend time together? It's no wonder my son thought that the government was unfair. Mr. Speaker, this cannot be allowed to continue. The way we're working, my opponents, it just isn't working. Beauty of this though is that all of this can be eliminated by introducing the flexible workweek arrangement. With this arrangement, Mr. Speaker, workers can choose to spend time with their families because they can decide on the hours that they will be spending at work. Furthermore, time stuck in traffic, allow me to finish, time stuck in traffic would be significantly reduced because traffic congestion itself would be significantly reduced. This will be rushing to work and from work at the same time. I'm not making up stories, my opponents. You know this to be true. The research conducted by your organization is very telling on this matter. The research states, and I quote, one interviewee indicated that benefits to employees included allowing them to avoid traffic congestion, end quote. Mr. Speaker, have you ever been stuck in rush hour traffic? Well, yes, of course. This is how we've been working since Wapi Kill Philip. But the way that we're working, Mr. Speaker, it simply isn't working. Do you still have a point to make?
So, my opponent, what are you trying to say? That productivity is only about family life and traffic congestion?
No. And I'm not trying to say it. What I'm saying is that family life is a factor in productivity. Perhaps I should invite you to read page 12 of the research by the Ministry of Labor and Productivity, and you'll see how important family life is to productivity. Yes? Moving on. Apart, Mr. Speaker, from the ability to bring families closer, a flexible work week will create a sense of loyalty to employers, which will result in increased productivity and a win-win situation for employees and employers. Let me paint a picture of efficiency for you. Efficiency is this. An employee gets to work, she does her work, give it the best of her ability, and if she has to work overtime, she gladly does it. Mr. Speaker, that is productivity in the public sector. When individuals provide the service that they're hired to provide, thereby enabling the government to achieve economics of scale, that is productivity in the public sector. However, we cannot achieve this unless we have a flexible work arrangement which allows autonomy to employees. My opponents, you have come here today with stifled consciences. Having had first-hand experience of your organization's research, you have come here with a conspiracy to mislead and misguide our audience and the people of Jamaica. My opponents, this speaks to a pathological, mendacious behavior, and I suggest that you pack your bags and leave. What am I saying, Mr. Speaker? I'm saying that a flexible work week will increase family life and family time. A flexible work week will allow persons to have higher morale and therefore be more efficient at work. We need a flexible work week because the way we're working just isn't working. I thank you.
We want to thank the second speaker from Team Proposition for advancing the case for that bench. We now invite a response from the second speaker on side opposition.
My opponents, let me say that the same definition for productivity that we used was the same one that we used. That productivity will improve, generate, create, and enhance goods and services. Also, as it relates to family life, we are not saying that family life would not be improved, but flexi work week alone cannot contribute to this. Distinguished judges, my worthy opponents,
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I join my first speaker in battle that the arrangement of offering various possibilities in relation to the hour work, roster, or shift schedules will not on its own improve, generate, create, or enhance goods and services. Ladies and gentlemen, what is really needed to improve productivity in the public sector? Improving productivity raises a need to increase transparency about government's service delivery model and the link between output and resources. Productivity will be improved through implementation, modernization, and transformation of the public sector. Focus must be placed on improving skills and qualifications through training of the staff. Training will increase the aptitude of the employees and so improve the speed and quality of work. If we do not have a well-trained public sector, workforce productivity will never be improved, no matter how flexible week is implemented.
The Journal for Analysis on Productivity states that productivity has no empirical value. You cannot give something an empirical value. Therefore, in every nation's gross national project, it is always product. It has always been equal to zero. Input equal output equal
But
to
if
zero.
you are saying that my opponent, how you are placing a value on it as it relates to family life. Continue. Honorable judges, productivity is about people, supporting staff, improving morale through motivation by letting them feel appreciated and valued. It is about harnessing the power of information technology. My opponents, productivity is improved through better remuneration so as to attract and retain the best trained workers. Ladies and gentlemen, let us zoom in on the health sector, for example, a key area of public sector, and look at our nurses. In a Gleaner article dated September 15, 2018, President of the Nurses Association of Jamaica, Carmen Johnson, bemoaned the large exodus of some of the very best trained, experienced, and qualified nurses to other countries due to low wages and poor working conditions. This drains the public sector and decreases the level of productivity. The same could be said for our teachers. Will a flexible work week solve this mammoth problem? Not at this time. I leave you to answer that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, much more than a flexible work week is needed to boost productivity in the public sector. Let's look at Mauritius and Queen's Island public sectors. Both had severe challenges when they tried implementing a flexible work week arrangement. The study revealed that it created frustration among the employees. It was difficult for them to evaluate work performance in terms of productivity. Employees working in teams didn't find it suitable to meet their needs. Flexible arrangements were not applicable to certain categories of officers. My fellow opponents, meeting the stated objectives of improved productivity will not occur simply by implementing a flexible work week. It includes, not at this time, it includes changing mindsets. In an Observer article written by Ralston Nemar, dated May 30, 2017, the country representative of the Inter-American Development Bank in Jamaica, Therese Turner-Jones, has called attention to the low productivity rates that exist in Caribbean countries, and especially in Jamaica. She stated that you can have the best tools in the world, but if there are people with a inconsistent work ethic, who does not take their job seriously, who are prepared to upgrade themselves or to have their companies invest heavily in human resources, those tools are of no help in improving productive output. Productivity, my fellow opponents, is about people. A flexible work week, my worthy opponents, with poor work ethics of workers will not, may I reiterate, will not improve productivity. Workers will see it as a means of just going to work to fulfill what is necessary and go home. If we continue to work like this in the public sector, A flexible work week on its own will not improve productivity. In concluding, my opponents, there are numerous factors that need to be addressed before a flexible work structure can be effective for the public sector. Focus must be placed on improving skills and qualifications, training, enhancing efficiency, improving turnaround time and service delivery, building staff morale, and adequately compensating staff. This will help to boost productivity in the public sector. Honorable judges, my worthy opponents, I thank you.
Thank you very much to the second speaker on team opposition for advancing the line of arguments. We now invite the third and final speaker from team, substantive speaker from team opposition to close with substantive arguments.
Honorable judges, my worthy opponents, audience, good morning. Let me first clear the blurred vision of our worthy opponents. We said productivity in the public sector. This is what the mood states, that it is flexible work week will boost productivity in the public sector. Let us not be confused or add other things to it. They did not say will salaries improve or boost productivity in the public sector. We state in our definition, productivity in the public sector is the ability of the agencies to effectively meet the actual and perceived needs of the public. And I will continue. With technological advancement and globalization, we have to change the way in which we operate as a society, as the way we are working now just isn't working. An article in the Jamaica Greener entitled The Impact of Flexi Work stated, and I quote, more than any other sector in the economy, the public sector has been constantly colored for declining productivity. Here now is an opportunity for the government of Jamaica to demonstrate that with flexible working schedules, it too can achieve successful levels of productivity, which has long been envied in the private sector companies, end quote. As stated by my first speaker, the flexible work week solution is a tool for measurement, retention, and regulates the number of employees needed as goods and services fluctuate seasonally, hence reducing public spending. However, our government offices are tightly shuttered on the weekends by worthy opponents. One exception, though, is in the tax season, when the tax offices may open their door on a Saturday. My learning opponents, is this considered to be productivity? Mr. Speaker, I will highlight the emotional and health benefits as outlined by my first speaker to our public sector employees on implementation of the flexible work week. Starting with mental health. This and work are intertwined. Work can cause and exacerbate mental health issues, but it can also act as a support mechanism. Flexible options in particular have a lot to offer in supporting mental health at work and in life in general. According to a survey conducted at Flex Jobs, and I quote, out of 3,000 professionals, 97% of them will agree that having a more flexible job would have a huge or positive impact on their quality of life, end quotes. With happier employees, my worthy opponents, and a trustable environment, productivity increases, efficiency increases. Employees can also focus more on their time at work and less on having to get to work, and you can agree. Employees are also less stressed. Stress is one of the biggest complaints in the workforce today. With only so many hours in a day, a flexible schedule will create an environment for better management of life demands.
I'm wondering if you're bearing in mind the cultural context in which we exist. Can you speak to the culture of Jamaica, and how do you see our culture as a people fitting into such an arrangement?
All right, my worthy opponents, as we state with globalization and change in our world at this point in time, Jamaica has to catch up. We are a third world country. We are aiming to be first world. We need to implement things that have been shown and proven to have boost productivity in our public sector. And I continue. Stress my employees is one of the biggest complaints in the workforce.
After all, if our workers are stressed, they won't be able to perform at their peak. When they don't have to juggle all of life's demands all at once, public sector employees will have less stress and more positive feelings about their job. Mr. Speaker, as the saying goes, hard work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. In the University of Minnesota study, it stated that employees are healthier and happier. Even more evidence to support flexible schedules was found. Its results cited that employees were able to get more and better sleep, having higher energy levels, and allowed for ill employees to take care of their health and return to work faster. Mr. Speaker, having a happier and healthier public sector, the government will be able to attract and retain top-notch professionals, resulting in fewer turnovers and training costs. And as my speaker stated, that our nurses are leaving, so we need to have these things implemented. So we continue to stress a flexible work week. Mr. Speaker, my worthy opponents, in conclusion, the flexible work week will in return boost job satisfaction, encourage better health, so as we aim to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. I'm sure my worthy opponents will agree that the way we are working just is not working.
Thank you very much to the third speaker for closing with the substantive arguments for team opposition. We now invite the third speaker from team opposition to do the same.
My opponents, you consistently agree to the fact that the flexi work week is more beneficial to the employee rather than to the public sector on a whole. You have not been able to show us the link between the benefits that is perceived by the public sector workers as opposed to productivity in the public sector itself. Honorable judges, my most worthy opponents, a pleasant good morning. Listen to me, sorry. Our first speaker ably pointed out what is flexi work week, how it will be implemented, and the disadvantages that will come about with such a system. She highlighted that it will not only be unsuitable for some employee roles, but will also be difficult for workers to be properly monitored and supervised. My opponents, she reminded you that any such initiative will require the expansion of the public sector, which the government cannot afford at this time. My second teammate elaborated on what is needed to boost productivity and took us to Mauritius and Queensland, where she pointed out the challenges that both countries faced upon implementing such a system. She educated us on the importance of building a strong, well-equipped workforce with the required policy framework that will boost productivity. Yet, you fail to see that a flexible work week will not on its own boost productivity in the public sector. Not at this time. I subscribe to you, my friends, that what the public sector needs to boost productivity is a strength-based leadership approach coupled with training. This will boost productivity far greater than any flexible work schedule. My opponents, strength-based leadership has been identified as a core element of fostering employee optimism, engagement, and performance, and have led to at least 12.5% greater productivity. This was highlighted in a study carried out by Gallup entitled How Employee Training Boosts Productivity.
Your second speaker said that what is needed to boost productivity in Jamaica is a reformed public sector. A research by the Labor and Social Security Ministry said that flexible work week will also be a part of a reformed public sector. What are you now saying?
And we're saying that the flexible work week on its own cannot boost for the productivity. The flexible work week, along with other things like training, as what I'm saying now, will help the productivity in the public sector. Let me continue. A leader that is able to motivate, identify, and discern the skills and innate strengths of an employee and recommend the requisite training to foster development will be an asset to such employees, thus improving productivity. According to lifehack.org, an employee is more likely to be productive when they understand what is expected from them and are able to do it in an efficient manner. If you want someone to be a productive, contributing member of your team, offer them career growth opportunities, not less or more time at work. Career development enhances employees' skill set and communicates to the employee that they are an important member of a team who is expected to learn new ways to help to meet the goals and objectives.
Point of information.
Not at this time. My opponents, if you want to boost productivity, modernize the public sector and employ the use of technology. A study conducted in Africa concluded that the use of technology in government is not limited to building government websites and collecting revenue via the internet. It is the ability to transform the relationships between citizens and the public sector. Mr. Speaker, make accessing public sector services less tedious and watch productivity boom in the public sector. Let's put all the information we have stacked in files on shelves into a computer database and make it readily available. That will boost productivity. My opponent, have you ever gone to the hospital, to the registry department and seen the myriad of files that it contains? Imagine having that at the click of a mouse. That, my friends, will boost productivity. As information communication technology permeates almost every area of modern life, it must also be extended to the public sector. That will boost productivity. Flexi work week will provide employees with more time for their personal agenda. It may allow employees to get more rest and feel healthier, but it will not on its own boost productivity. Mr. Speaker, the arrangement offering various possibilities in relation to hours worked in government-owned businesses and industries will not on its own improve, generate, or enhance goods and services in the future.
We would like to thank the third speaker for closing the substantive arguments for team opposition. At this point, we will pause for 60 seconds to allow both teams to collective answers before we invite reply speaker from opposition, followed by the reply speaker from team proposition, who will close the debate. Your 60 seconds start now. Okay, that's the end of your 1 minute. We now invite the reply speaker from team opposition to table a reply.
My opponents, are you sure you did not misunderstand the note? Flexi work arrangements, as you consistently pointed out, will benefit the employee in personal ways, but I did not hear you saying much about how it will improve or increase or will boost productivity in the public sector. The moot is not about flexi work arrangements and its impact on families and who will be late and who will not be late. The moot is about how will flexi work arrangements boost productivity in the public sector and not in your families. All the points of the second speaker spoke to the benefits to the employees and not necessarily to improving productivity in the public sector. First speaker, how dare you say that productivity cannot be measured? I invite you to move from the theoretical realm and morph for a moment into reality. When you go to work, do you not measure how productive you are by the number of patients you would have seen throughout the day or what you would have done? If productivity could not be measured, then we would not be here today debating about how a flexi work arrangement will boost productivity if it could not be measured. I therefore say that your stance on that matter is merely theoretical and not very practical as it relates especially to our Jamaican reality. As a social worker, a family social worker, I might add, I'm enthused about how interested you are in the family and how much you want the family to grow. I welcome that too. But my opponents, we are yet to see how productivity will be boosted in the public sector based on the arguments that you have presented. My opponents, a flexi work week will provide employees with time for their personal agenda. It may even allow you time to go to the gym and take your children to work, to school. But how will it improve or boost productivity in the public sector? I'm yet to hear you say. Mr. Speaker, the arrangements offering various possibilities in relation to the hours worked in government-owned business and industries will not, on its own, my opponents, I'm just praying you will see, will not, on its own, boost productivity in the public sector. Mr. Speaker, your position rests.
Thank you very much to the reply speaker from Team Opposition. We now invite the reply speaker from the opposing team to table a rebuttal and to close this debate.
My esteemed opponents, maybe you missed the point, but let me inject you with reality. The Australian Public Service states that productivity in the public sector, not productivity by definition, but in the public sector, is the ability to provide goods and services, actual and perceived needs. It is about the employee producing the services needed. Nursing on a whole provides services. These are non-market outputs. Globally, productivity in the public sector is not given a metric value. Your research stated that it was not given a metric value. Are you here then today to say, all of a sudden, there is a metric value? Questionable as to where you're going. Productivity in the public sector cannot be measured, but it has to be looked on the effectiveness of services given. Now, take for instance the Parkers, the Browns, the Andrews, the families of Jamaica. In our cultural context, we know that the Jamaican worker does not give all their time. Questionable? Why? Poor compensation in which you measured? No. The journal that looks at by the Geneva Convention on International Labour Office, it says that there is no link between worker compensation and their effectiveness. There isn't, because it cannot be empirically tested, and it is a poor variable to be tested due in their research. Now, you cannot bring up the idea of worker compensation. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the effectiveness of the workers. In case you missed the point, we are saying that the flexi work week arrangement will, and by your own research, by your ministry,
stated that it can, once it is implemented with the benefits. The cost was never measured. We're not talking about cost. We're talking about you, my opponents, getting up in the morning at a structured time, going to your offices, being more engaged, focused, with better health, having more commitment to your organization, providing the services. We are not talking about the cost of the printers in your office. We're not talking about facts. We're talking about you, my opponents. Your health, your choice is your responsibility. And the flexi work week gives you that responsibility, gives you that choice, gives you that freedom. That alone, we know, can boost productivity in the public sector. We're not talking about the components of productivity. That would be endless. The situation would go on for ages. We're talking about efficiency of services offered, not the price of services. That's the accounts department. My opponents, productivity in the public sector is measured on you, the public sector worker. You talk about nursing wages. Can I have part of your pay? That cannot boost productivity. Productivity in the public sector is about nurses, doctors, public sector workers like yourself, happier, healthier, more engaged, giving us services that we all can have at a first world standard.
Thank you very much to the reply speaker from Team Proposition for closing this debate. We now invite both teams to shake hands in the spirit of the public sector debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please to partake of refreshments and serve the roll call. All right?
time. She talked about, very busy and demanding life of the modern day professional, the public sector, all these, but I think it's happening across the board. So now, based on all of the things you have competing for time and attention, there really ought to be a situation that allows employees to choose their own hours of work, which will result in the increase in the quality of goods and services delivered in the public sector. We thought that was fair and reasonable. There was some analysis and statistics given for countries like Canada and Denmark where you have this kind of arrangement. We thought that was fine. And there was also the painting of a picture of what this will do for the employee. Makes them a bit more engaged, increases levels of satisfaction, creates a higher work morale, and increases efficiency. There was also some analysis around the number of hours that really go into, any given day, week, or hour, and how that time is being used. We thought that was fine. Then the central point, and this came later in the debate, was really around increasing the efficiency of the work. So flexible work increases the efficiency of the worker based on the 4 areas that were pointed out earlier: engagement, satisfaction, high work morale, and efficiency. The opposition, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, said, fine, we hear it. But all of the points that you've talked about really highlight the benefits to the employee and not necessarily to the employer. And we find that problematic. So we're not necessarily saying it is a bad thing in and of itself, but it is really just pointing to the benefits of the employee. And there was, they talked about, a study. So they supported this point with a study coming out of the UK that talked about the flexible work week offering greater advantage to the employee and not to the employer. A bunch of information came, and it, the bunch of information was around the ILO, International Labour Organization, and it says a study does not necessarily show that an employee that is on a flexible work arrangement is any less productive than an employee that is not. That one went a little bit unchallenged. So here in the world that was set up, we have the proposition talking about all of the benefits to the employee, which then obviously translates to the employer. And in the opposition world, they're saying, well, the benefits are really to the employee. What we didn't quite get from the proposition was how the benefits for the employee was disadvantageous for the employer. So to be able to say, yes, the benefits are there, but they're only for the employee, well, how does this harm the employer? Is essentially a question that we felt went unanswered. Further though, I think the proposition made a more compelling case in saying, yes, you need all of these benefits for the employee in order for them to be productive and to then increase the overall productivity of the sector. There was some contention around this point because there was this back and forth around whether or not the flexible work week by itself would be sufficient to boost productivity. And I believe this was addressed by the third speaker when he was saying, well, yeah, we're not talking about the flexible work week in isolation, but it is one of the things that is necessary to increase productivity. So therefore, I think the opposition created an unnecessary burden for themselves, which was to prove that flexible work week in no way at all increases productivity, which we felt was not done by side opposition. So you created an unnecessary burden. It wasn't necessary to say that it does not have an impact at all, but as proposition was saying, it was not going to be by itself. The second speaker spoke a lot and spent a lot of time talking about the other things that would increase productivity: improving skills and qualification, transparency, governance, people, supporting staff morale, improving capability and better compensation, and so on. So again, there's a litany of other things, but the thing that was missing, we thought, this point, and actually came late, was really around this area of teamwork. So what flexible work week does not foster a culture of teamwork, because in the event that you have a situation where you will be required to work in a team, what flexible work week does, it creates some kind of disunity in that arrangement. So we thought that was a really good point, but we felt it wasn't developed well and wasn't central enough to the argument. So on the weight of the arguments coming from both both teams, we found that the opposition, the Jubilee Hospital, will walk away the winner of this. Congratulations to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. Well, there is a wild card coming out of this round too, so this is not necessarily the end of the road. View. The commendable speaker in this debate is the second speaker on team proposition, who's had the second highest speaker points. And the speaker with the highest number of speaker points is the third speaker on team proposition. Meaning the speaker in this match. Again, congratulations. You're off to the third round. And commiserations. Or are you getting the okay.